I'd ask Mike McLaughlin from Parks and Rec to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the February 11th, 2019 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I have the honor of serving as chair and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First item of business, please.
Proclamations, presentations. Number 1, presentation by the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism of an Arrival List Award to Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, recognizing Lake Shawnee as a most visited location.
Morning, Commissioners. Mike McLaughlin, Parks and Recreation. For the second time in 3 years, the travel industry has recognized Lake Shawnee as a top travel destination in Kansas. We have with us this morning from the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism, PR and Travel Development Manager Kelly Hilliard, who will present an Arrival List Award to our Director, John Nye.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kelly Hilliard with Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. Very happy to be here to present our first annual Arrival List Awards that were actually presented last week. Unfortunately, John and his staff were not able to be there because of the Kansas Parks and Rec Association conference. But we're very excited. This is a new award. Arrival List is a visitation intelligence platform that we have started using. We were the very first state in the United States to be able to use this platform. So with that, we were able to track our return on investment on what we're doing in our office. It utilizes location data. And basically these awards were given, the visitors must have traveled at least 50 miles. They had to stay at the destination for at least 30 minutes and didn't go to that location more than once in a 2-week time frame. So we're really excited because there were several categories. There were attractions category, zoos, parks, and natural attractions, farms and ranches category, breweries, distilleries, and wineries, a large and luxury hotels category, as well as the casinos category. The attractions category was the largest, of course, in the state to get this intelligence from, and we're excited that Lake Shawnee was one of those that did receive that recognition. So with that, I have an award that we would like to present to John. There you go.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, this award, even though I'm accepting it, I would like you guys to come up and get this, because this all starts with the county commission being supportive of the things that we're trying to do at Lake Shawnee. I will say that this is the first time intelligence and an award and to John and I all come together at the same time. So I would also at this time, not only is it the support from the commission, but I also want to recognize several of the staff that's back in the back of the room who have done a tremendous job in helping us get to where we are here. We have Mike Hutley. You can stand up and wave to everybody. Tracy Podlina. Next to her is Terry Braden, Gentry May, Butch Romick, Lyle Bausch, Clayton Johnson, John Bell. He doesn't always do a lot out there, but he gets to stand up because he was here this morning. And with that, and also Randy Luby and Tim Laurent are here as well too. What I would like is for the press to be able to get a picture with me and the county commissioners.
Well, let's bring everybody else up too and get a big picture.
Okay.
Come on up.
Mike Hutley coming up will make me look a lot better in the picture. So come on up, Mike. Put this up.
You want to
Just looking back. Give everybody.
We're actually going to email you that
Thank you, Commissioners, and like I said, we wouldn't be able to have accepted this award if it wasn't for the support of the County Commission and a terrific staff, so thank you very much.
Thank you, John, and your staff, and thanks for coming this morning and taking pictures with us. It's deeply appreciated. I keep saying that Parks and Rec is the biggest quality of life issue in our county, period. I'm excited and proud of us. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
3 items on the consent agenda. Any questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Under District Attorney, Journal Technologies, Inc., $12,926 is for Justware support. Under Equipment Fund, Professional Engineering Consultants, PA, totaling $22,365 is for the Lake Shawnee Adventure Cove Water Recycle. Under Federal Grant, Sound Products, Inc., $34,169.70 is for UPS battery replacement service. Underpass Train Parts Center, $14,275 is for the East Topeka Learning Center. Under Sewer District, Topeka Electric Motor Repairs, $28,163.43 is for a pump for Sherwood Wastewater Treatment Plant. Total vouchers is $1,160,033.90, and I would move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, and that's seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 3, consider approval of renewal of tax exemption for Mars Wrigley Confectionery U.S. LLC, formerly Mars Chocolate North America LLC, for year 2.
And all the criteria and requirements have been met, Chris?
Yes, they have been.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Questions or comments regarding the Mars tax exemption?
I'd move for approval.
Second that.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-75, 2019, a change order with Mike Mosher Construction, providing $3,050 for unforeseen additional repairs to the Ward Mead Mansion porch with funding from the Capital Maintenance 3R Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Before you today is a change order. Basically, when they started redoing this porch, they discovered the floor joists underneath the porch were almost completely deteriorated and obviously needed replacing. So that is the change order before you. I do have John Bell here, who supervises Old Prairie Town and knows more of the details if you have any questions.
The memo said this was unforeseen. There was no way it could have been.
Correct. Until you start getting into the project, you weren't able to tell that these floor joists were that bad a shape.
Yeah, okay. Questions or comments for Mr. Luby? A motion.
I would move that we approve the change order.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Randy.
Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item C, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request to fund the drug and alcohol program in an amount of $76,460 with funding from the inmate wellness account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just a request. This contract was approved by the Board of County Commissioners, and in working with Betty Greiner with Administrative Services, we felt it was needed to come back before the board because the way it was initially approved was half the money would come from the inmate wellness account, the other would come from our trustee budget. In reviewing our budget as we go forward, we really didn't feel that it was appropriate that the funds half of it come out of the wellness account and the other half come out of the trustee because it deals with inmate workers. And we both felt that it was appropriate that it should all come out of the inmate wellness account. We dedicate those funds for all inmate programs. We've used this countless many times before for inmate programs. So it's just a matter of, it's not a matter of approval of a new contract, just the payment method. And I did work with Betty on this.
Would you remind the public about what the benefit of this program is?
Oh, absolutely. This is a program that started many years ago. It's an in-house drug and alcohol program that, with no pun intended, when you have a captive audience, when they're in there inside the facility, you're able to provide the needed drug and alcohol programs inside there that helps the inmates get the much-needed programs they need, also to get a possible sentence modification to get out of jail early, get back into the workforce, things like that. This program was stopped briefly for budgeting back in 2011, but once we've secured budget and things became much better for Shawnee County and the Department of Corrections, we came back before. This is a tremendous benefit to the courts, is that we know that the inmates are, and those that are court ordered to go to the training or the program, they're getting that. Number one, it's helping them get through some much needed addiction or mental health programming that they need. We can do it all on site of the facility, and it's all right there. So it is very cost efficient. We do see good numbers of people going through and successfully graduating this program.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Questions or comments? Commissioner
Archer,
Cook?
just some additional information. In 2018, there were 133 individuals that went through the drug and alcohol program in Shawnee County. 85 were males, 48 were females. Of the 133, 93 successfully completed, and of those, 65 went into aftercare, and so we do see a return of investment by the inmates. This is incomparable to what you would see for those that are non-incarcerated. Again, this was a program that was cut by Shawnee County during the recession, and it was something that Brian Cole worked very hard to reinstate in the Department of Corrections so that we could reduce recidivism.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed or no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-76 2019 with Washburn University to participate in the Kansas Career Work Study Program to employee intermittently a student from Washburn who is eligible to participate and is working in the facility with the reentry initiatives at a cost of $12 an hour with reimbursement from Washburn of 50% of the hourly rate of pay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is a program that has been approved or once before in the past by the Board of County Commissioners. This is a program that we don't take lightly. This is a program that has been very beneficial. Number one, our working relationship with our local university of resources of being able to help us enhance our reentry program at the Department of Corrections. One of the things that Washburn does is they provide a work study student, and that person comes in, they reimburse us half of the funds. This is an intermittent position that I would work closely with Angela Lewis on. It doesn't require the approval as far as coming forward to get an intermittent. I can work directly there. I have talked to Angela briefly regarding this. This is a valuable program. It's one more program that we can involve a person in the community who also is a student. This is, I believe, a master's level student that's coming in and helping us with our programs, and it's tremendously valuable. And they work up to about 20 hours a week. I can't say enough about this program. Again, it was something that just enhances our relationship with our local university, and again, the commissioners saw this favorably in the past.
Questions or comments for Brian?
Move for approval, but also noting this is a program I was able to take part in at Washburn. It's a great employer outreach program. It is offered through Washburn, where they reimburse half the cost, so it does help employers employ individuals in the community, and I would ask all the departments to check to see if this might be applicable to them. I know the counselor's office has used it in the past with law students, and again, it's something that is a valuable asset.
And there are no benefits, I mean, as far as insurances or anything that go to this. This is strictly just that, and we get reimbursed for that.
Yep. And again, it's motion to approve.
I'll second that. Did you make less than $12 an hour, Commissioner?
I think it was about $12 an hour. Again, that was going back almost 20 years.
Oh, God. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste, number 1. Consider approval of request to advertise and fill a fleet supervisor position in the Solid Waste Department at a salary including benefits of $79,917.04 with funding from the solid waste budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Back in late December, the Commission approved my request to create and fill a fleet supervisor position in the Department of Solid Waste. Since that time, we've interviewed 2 applicants. We've selected one. We've offered a conditional offer to this preferred applicant. Considering the applicant's 40 years of service in the repair of heavy equipment, I believe that it is fair and he is worthy of bringing the employee in at salary range 16, step 8. This salary is commensurate or agreeable with fleet supervisors on the public works side. This position will be invaluable in the care and maintenance of the 55 heavy vehicles that we have in solid waste. Obviously, this employee will be paid through the solid waste budget, which is user fee funded and is not funded by any taxpayer dollars. And finally, on the solid waste side, later in 2019, it looks like we're going to have a retirement of one of our fleet supervisors on the public works side. So this position in solid waste will be beneficial in filling the temporary gap that we might have on the public works side as far as fleet maintenance on their fleet. Take any questions?
Don't see any. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item, please.
Item E, Information Technology, number 1. Consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for one employee to attend the Tyler Connect 2019 conference for training at a cost not to exceed $3,200 with funding from the 2019 Information Technology budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat Oblander with the Information Technology Department. The Tyler Conference covers several product lines that we use here in Shawnee County across many departments. Primary one is the New World Public Safety Records Management System that's used by the Sheriff's Office, the Department of Corrections, and Emergency Dispatch. We also have sessions that will be covered for the Executime timekeeping system that we use here in Shawnee County, and the Orion system that's used by Appraiser's Office for various functions. We would like to send one employee from the IT office to this conference to maintain contacts and networking with their professional support staff, and to see what's coming down the pike and see if those are things that we should be looking at adopting as we go forward. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Pat regarding this trip?
I have none. I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for 2 employees to attend the Central Square 2019 conference for training and networking at a cost not to exceed $4,800 with funding from general expenses of the general fund.
Commissioners, this item is for out-of-state travel to the Central Square 2019 conference, formerly known as the SPARK Conference. formerly known as the SunGuard Users Group Conference. It's undergone several name changes over the past few sessions and is currently run by the parent organization Central Square. Typically, the county sends their representatives from multiple departments to this conference, but this year, Central Square, the parent company, is combining a number of conferences that were traditionally held in separate venues and locations. So this year, we're not certain what the makeup is going to be, how the conference is going to be handled. So with that uncertainty, we're not sending representatives from all departments. Rather, we're just sending 2 from the IT department, because IT is kind of central to pretty much everything that happens there at the conference in regards to our Superion system, our One Solution system, sorry. So we're proposing that we just send those 2, and then they will report back and say, give us information about what the conference was like. Was it beneficial? Would it be beneficial for additional staff to attend next year from multiple departments from the user perspective? With that in mind, I'd like to ask for permission to send 2 IT staff members to the conference.
Questions for Pat?
Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Pat, is it your anticipation that those employees that went to the training are going to come back and provide training to other departments if applicable or able?
If applicable, yes, they would. Additionally, they will provide a trip report on return for the commissioners.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item F, Emergency Management. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-77, 2019 for transfer of grant-funded training equipment to Shawnee County Emergency Management from the Northeast Kansas Homeland Security Council in an amount of $7,911.68.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. Pretty straightforward. It's the Northeast Regional, the Homeland Security Council purchases equipment based on a needs assessment, and between us and Lyon County, we would be the 2 counties housing and issuing out this equipment for training and exercises.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract, and I did want to thank Emergency Management for all their hard work during these weather events. I know Thursday morning we were on the phone about 3:30 or 4 o'clock figuring out what to do, and, I appreciate the service that you've provided to Shawnee County. And that's a motion to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you again, Dusty.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, please.
Item G, Facilities Maintenance. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-78, 2019, amendment and extension of Contract C-70, 2018 with Green Touch Lawn and Tree for 1 year for the mowing, fertilizing, and weed control at the courthouse, Health Department, 2 locations, and Elections Office, mowing only, with funding from Facilities Maintenance, Health Department, and Elections 2019 budgets.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. This is an extension of the contract we had last year with Green Touch to provide lawn care for the 4 locations noted. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have on it.
Questions for Bill?
Yeah. Do we monitor how well they're doing as far as, weed control and
Yes, and last year they didn't do as good as we wanted them to, but we have got on them about it, and they're promising they're going to do better this year. And primarily on the weed control. The mowing has been fine pretty much at every location, but in the bedding areas and things, they're going to try to get down a little earlier with the pre-emergent and then hit it a second time.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Bill, I would just ask that maybe you take a lot closer look at it. I mean, it was embarrassing to have it reported that we had what might have been a marijuana plant growing outside the courthouse.
That's correct.
Whether an individual ditched their seeds on the way in or what happened, but that is embarrassing.
Yes, it
and I would
was.
ask that it not happen again.
Yes, sir.
I had actually forgotten about that. Thank you for
I haven't.
bringing it up. I'll put you Is there a motion in there somewhere?
I'll move that we approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approvals to solicit proposals for the purchase, delivery, and installation of one or more portable storm shelters to be used at the North Annex.
Bill Crow, Facilities Maintenance Director. This item is to get proposals for the storm shelters portable type, similar or almost identical to the ones that the sheriff recently purchased last year for use out at the shooting range, for use at the North Annex. The North Annex does not have any storm shelter for severe weather at all. These two would be my anticipation to get two, one for the north side, one for the south side, for employees to have some place of refuge in case of a severe storm. And as well as if we have another marijuana plant growing someplace in the front of the building, I'll hide out there.
Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
This is long overdue and
Yes, it is.
much needed, so again, I would motion to approve.
Commissioner, I have one.
Sure.
How many people does each one of these units hold?
Anywhere between 60 and 75 people, depending on how cooperative people want to be to let more people in. But normally about 60.
Okay.
They consider full, but you can jam as many people in there as you possibly want. So.
Okay. And they're portable instead of permanent? Why?
Well, they're just not built on site. They're built elsewhere, brought to the site, put onto a pad, and that way you save a little bit of money. One of the anticipations that we had when we first started looking at a storm shelter there, our architect, Brian Falk, was estimating a cost of around $300,000 for a single storm shelter. This could get two of them probably for less than $100,000 of these prefabricated units.
Thank you for the clarification. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jill. Next item, please.
Item H, Administrative Services. Number 1, Financial Report as of December 31st, 2019. 18.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. And yes, this is the preliminary financial report for the year ending December 31, 2018. I will stress again that this is the preliminary report. We still have some revenue and expenses that are coming in that are attributable to 2018, but should not make a major swing one way or another. So I thought it would be good to come ahead and give you a preliminary numbers. I'll also mention that the numbers shown here and on my charts are for the general fund only. The general fund is the county's main operating fund and our main levy fund. I will discuss a few other funds as we go along, but they will not be included in these numbers as this is just the general fund. So I will start with revenue. Our total revenue we're showing is $105,850,280. That is compared to what we budgeted of $105,035,972. So we are $814,308 over budget for the year. That is 0.78% over our budget. I always like to just try to make sure we stay within 1%, which we have, and slightly over budget. This chart just shows all the different categories and the makeup of those. I will go into each category individually. Our first category is property tax revenue. It shows $77,070,655. That is $676,000 under what was budgeted for two reasons. The primary reason is for tax exemptions on property that was given after the tax was levied. If it would have been before the tax was levied, it would not have had this impact. But since the the exemptions did not come through till after the tax was levied. Then the other item is the tax delinquencies were slightly up this year. And although $676,000 is a lot of money, that is 0.87%. So there again, it's less than 1% of what we had projected. Next category is other tax revenue. We'd received $16,588,003. That is $271,000 over what was budgeted. And that is primarily from the city-county highway tax. That came in $291,000 over what the state had estimated. Now we have property-related fees. That is from mortgages related with the Register of Deeds office primarily. We received $1,686,693. That is $113,000 over what we had budgeted. But if you will notice 2017's number, that is $346,000 under last year's. That is because of the the change in the state law that says how mortgages are taxed, mortgage registrations are taxed. 2018 is the next, is the last year we will receive any revenue based on the prior method. 2019, I anticipate this will go down even more as it is the last year for that implementation.
And we can thank our state legislature for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Next category is charges for services. We received $4,541,117. That is $497,000 under what was budgeted. That is primarily from Parks and Rec revenue being below what was estimated. We will have a little bit of additional revenue coming into this category. There will be inmate housing revenue that from other governments, say, like the state, the federal, other counties, that has not been accounted for in this yet, that are still receivable, but they are attributable to 18. So this number will go up a little bit. And then our last category is other revenue. We received $5,963,813. That is $1,602,000 over budget, and that's primarily from two areas. Penalties and interest on delinquent taxes that have been paid was higher than estimated, and then also investment income. As we know, interest rates have been going up. So since we have to budget so early, and it's hard to know exactly where interest rates were going to be, so that has gone up substantially too. Okay, here's our pie chart that shows our percentages for revenue. 73% of this revenue came from property taxes, 16% from other taxes, 1% from property-related fees, 4% for charges for services, and then 6% for other. Any questions on the revenue? Okay, we'll go on to the expenditure side. This chart shows all of the expenditures for the general fund of $104,676,810. And that is compared to the budget of $105,035,972. So we are $359,000 under budget, which is a positive variance. We want to be under budget, and that is 0.34%. So about a third of 1% is what we're under budget on that. Again, this chart just shows all the different categories, and you can kind of see, how they relate to each other. But I will go into each one individually. Law enforcement, we spent $48,314,276. That is $123,000 under budget. That is really spread from all the departments. that we're all under budget for this year. But I will note, if you'll look at 2017 compared to 2018, although that we are under budget, we spent about $2.3 million more in 2018 than 2017 for law enforcement. I'll also mention, as I go through the expenditures, that there are some other expenditures for these areas that are paid outside the general fund. The DA and the sheriff have additional funds that they have access to, as well as 911 tax or fees that come in also. Next category is public health. We spent $8,535,286. That is right on budget. I will note that that is $386,000 less than last year, and that is because of the partnership with Grace Med, and by contract that our subsidy or our allocation to them goes down. Also, I will mention public health, even though this is the number that was spent from the general fund, public health, especially the health department, has other sources of revenue that also are spent. They receive grants in $2.5 million, and then they also have fees that they receive from patients of $600,000. So if you add what the general fund paid, plus the grants and the fees, we actually paid $11,684,000 in public health for the year. The next category is administrative services. Spent $13,024,475. That is $71,000 under budget, and again, that's spread between all of the departments. Public Works is the next category. We've spent $10,973,430. That is $162,000 under budget. But this category also has other revenue that they spend, so I'll go through that a little bit too. In addition to this general fund money, they received sales tax for county bridges from the JADO interlocal agreement of $1,316,667. Also, we paid the KDOT zero interest loan. The payment for that was $850. Then there is a Kansas and Federal Exchange Program that we received money from. During 18, we received $750,617 from that. So all of those other sources total $2.9 million. So if you add all that together, we actually spent $13,890,714 for Public Works as a total. Next category is Parks, Recreation, and Expo Center. Spent $15,123,196. That is right on budget, and the reason it is right on budget is because there are two of the departments within this category, noxious weeds and public and Parks and Rec, that will be transferring anything left in their budget to another fund. Noxious weeds, by statute, can transfer their balance to an equipment fund. For 2018, that'll be approximately $8,000. The Parks and Rec budget, the Commission has approved to move anything they have left in their budget to their building maintenance fund. That appears to be about $460,000 right now. You look like you have a question.
No.
No? Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a normal face.
Oh, okay. Well, if you look at the chart here, the totals show that there is a decrease of $225,000 from last year. But I want to kind of tell you that the Expo Center, our subsidy that we pay for the Expo Center actually went down $633,000 due to the contract we have with Spectra. So when you look at this, that's a little deceiving because Parks and Rec budget actually went up $400,000. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Parks and Rec also has other funds that they use. They use what we call the Parks and Rec revolving fund, and that has 2 of the golf courses in it, the summer camps, the campgrounds, those things. They had expenditures of $1.9 million. So if you add that to our total here, our total for Parks, Rec, and Expo for the county is actually $17,027,368. And our last category is debt service. We spent $8,706,148, and that is right on budget. So if we go on to our chart here that shows by category, you can really see this shows how much more we pay for law enforcement than the other categories. You can also see here, if you kind of look at the difference between green is the prior year, red is this year's budget, and then blue is this year's actual expenses. This one really shows that in most cases, the last year's and this year's are about the same. Law enforcement is the one that really shows that it went up this year from last year. Okay, and this is our pie chart that shows our percentage that went to each category. 46% went to law enforcement. Public health was 8%, administrative services 12%, public works 11%, parks, recreation, and expo 15%, and debt service is 8%. And this is just the percentages from the general fund. This is not including those other funds that I mentioned earlier. I'll also mention that debt service is 8%. I did look back, and since I've been doing these charts for the last 5 years, that has remained consistent, about 8 or 9% each year. So overall, I'm showing that we are $359,000 under budget for expenditures. Now, we still have inmate medical bills that are coming in that were incurred in 18 that we have not received yet. So there will be some additional expenses, so this variance will decrease some, but it will not take up the whole $359,000. So what that means is that for the general fund, we will definitely be within budget for 2018 for the revenues and for the expenses. I try to, I kind of like to look at that 1% margin, and I like us to stay within that 1% margin, and we have a 1% positive variance on both revenues and expenditures. I generally don't mention the other 2 funds that we have that are not tax related at all, but at this, since it's talking about the whole year, I'll also mention 2 other funds. We have our solid waste fund that is funded purely by fees. The expenditures in that for this year was $13.8 million. We also have community corrections that spent $1.6 million, and that is all state funded, although it's administered by the county. It's state funded. So I will stand for any questions you might have.
Commissioner Cook.
Betty, just for the public that may be watching and for those of us here, if I was to take our revenue of the $105,850,280 minus our expenditures that we report, and again, these are preliminary numbers, of $104,676,810, we have approximately $1,173,470, which is in the, again, 1%.
Yes.
And that money would then be contributed to the general fund.
That's correct, yes.
So Again,
Yes.
1% is contributed to the general fund of approximately $1 million.
Right. Now, we will have a few more expenses come in, but we also, as I mentioned, will have some additional revenue coming in also. So hopefully it will stay right around that same amount as a net amount.
Just making sure we put on, out exactly kind of what we're talking about.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Ripa?
Comment.
Okay. Couple of items. Thank you for including the grants and the extra funding that we get. Betty and I had talked about this before. To give a complete picture to the public, we do need to talk about, grants that we get in our actual expenditures in health and in public works and others. So thank you for that. Tim, if you're listening, the headline should be that our subsidy for the Expo Center went down $633,000. Again, Tim, $633,000 and going with Spectrum, and I think that is a headline. So we made our budget for the year. Thank you, Betty. Thank you all department heads and all employees for looking for ways to save money and still perform our mission. So thank you very much. Next item, please.
Administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for department heads or members of the public to address the commission. I would like to start, though, excuse me, Carol, with Jennifer Olson to come and talk to us about February 9th through the 16th is the 2019 National Court Reporting and Captioning Week. So if you would come and tell us about that, Jennifer.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jennifer Olson, and I am an official court reporter here in Shawnee County, Kansas, 3rd Judicial District. I have with me today Julie Beach, if you would please stand, and Claire Riley. They're both court reporters here in Shawnee County. And I do thank you for this opportunity to speak with you about a profession I have the privilege to be a part of every day, and that is court reporting. And I hope you'll forgive me, I am not an orator. I take the record, and my job is to observe and record. This week marks the beginning of the 2019 National Court Reporters Association Court Reporting and Captioning Week across this country and in the state of Kansas. To mark this special occasion, I would like to speak briefly on the profession of court reporting and captioning, its purpose, its role, and its future. Court reporting involves capturing and converting verbatim the spoken word and translating it into a written language. You may be familiar with stenographers, which is what I am, who utilize computerized stenotype technology, as well as voice writers who make a verbatim record in conjunction with their voice and technology. Both are court reporters, and these are the methods they use in order to produce an accurate record of proceedings. Let me share a few areas of the reporting field that you may or may not be familiar with. Most are aware of court reporters in courtrooms at the local, state, and federal level of our legal system. However, they are also found reporting hearings for state agencies, taking and transcribing medical records for doctors, reporting depositions for litigants, captioning business meetings via teleconferencing. Captioners provide open captioning of sporting events and breaking news. What you see that scrolls across the bottom of your television screen as you watch your favorite sporting event is accomplished through the talents of a live court reporter providing instantaneous translation of the speakers. CART, or Computer-Aided Real-Time Translation, is a service that reporters provide for hard of hearing and deaf students at schools and universities across this nation. Certified real-time reporters real-time U.S. congressional hearings, as well as provide daily transcripts of those hearings. During preparation for trials of detainees at Guantanamo Bay, court reporters provided instantaneous translation and daily copy for the court, counsel, defendants, and their translators. The National Court Reporters Association, which we call NCRA, has a philanthropic foundation called the National Court Reporters Foundation. This foundation is responsible for gathering oral histories of our war veterans, our hard of hearing war veterans, Holocaust survivors, and our legal history. These stories are translated by court reporters, and their stories, once transcribed, are sent to the Library of Congress. This foundation is funded by court reporters, and all translations are done pro bono. In this way, history may be protected and preserved. A little bit more. These are some of the places you will find a reporter has been. Through technology and skill, we look forward to the future. This profession allows for the human element, cutting-edge technology, flexibility, benefits, entrepreneurship, travel, all of this in less than 2 years of education. Kansas currently has 3 court reporting schools, and we want to encourage anyone interested to take a second look at this exciting and fast-moving profession. Thank you for your time, for your attention, and for helping us celebrate this wonderful week of National Court Reporting and Captioning.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
I did
Commissioner
have,
Cook?
yeah, and I'll stand for any questions, but I did have something that I would like to give each of you, if that would be appropriate. We also have little treats that are out front. Chris? Thank you. Thank you very much. Just a little more information, some of which I spoke about.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner, we rely on the court reporter very heavily. They provide the integrity of the court and making sure that we record properly everything that is said. And they will often take young attorneys under their wing to make sure that they speak properly, slowly, dictate, enunciate. Not that I was one of those.
Very good.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the commission supporting us. We really, really appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming.
We would love a picture with you, too.
Oh, okay.
If that would be appropriate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate so much your time. Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sweet.
I'm Carol Marple, and I had some questions about the budget. You didn't see my hand, so I wondered if this is the time to ask them.
Typically, administrative communications is an opportunity to address the commission.
Okay. I was curious as to what the balance is in our carryover fund, our excess funding.
I think we'll be in a better opportunity to do that after we have the accruals that we have coming over from the end of the year.
Okay, then my other question is the $1 million, it's going to go back into the general fund. Is there a way that it'll be spent, or how will that work?
Spending decisions are always made by the commission.
So that will be, well, I guess what I'm asking, will that be divided among different departments, or will it go to the excess funding?
It'll be done in an open and transparent fashion by the county commission.
Okay. And then my other question is, and I'm not going to use the right terminology, and I'm very sorry, but when we were discussing Camp Daisy, one of the concerns was the debt, and that in 2019 we were going to pay off a substantial amount of debt. And I was wondering if you could give me an idea of what the debt payoff, what we won't be making in a payment.
I don't have it with me. I'll be happy to send it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. I just want to take an opportunity to tell you that our partners with Washburn University and the National Weather Service will be doing the Storm Spotters course March 4th. We have 2 sessions this year. One's at 3:30 and one's at 7 p.m. That's the Bradbury Thompson Alumni Center. So we're moving it from where we did last year. The venues seemed too big. So since we're splitting it up, we're hoping that that's a better venue. And we're working on, with the grant funds that you approved earlier in the year, at the end of last year, having discounted weather radios available for that as well. So March 4th, Monday, 3:30 and 7:30 at Bradbury Thompson Alumni Center.
Okay. Thank you, Dusty.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. I just wanted to announce that last Friday we had our graduation for our Basic Officer Academy. Went very well. We had 16 participants that hit the ground running that next day and Saturday, getting back into the shifts. It's a 2-week process, but we do welcome the ability to get our staff back there. You know, I know the Commissioners have a very busy schedule, but I do want to say thank you to Commissioner, well, first of all, to all the Commissioners for your support for the Department of Corrections, number one, and also to Commissioner Rippon, who was able to attend. His words were enlightening to the staff, and the families look very much forward to that. And also, I wanted to say that I had the opportunity to meet with Matt Pavarnik recently on how public safety can be integrated into, you know, his work and Momentum 2022, and how we can evolve, you know, the young leaders into what they want to see their law enforcement or corrections facilities for the future, things like that. Also, I know he's had some work in Tulsa where they had a lot of issues regarding law enforcement, things like that. So I just reached out to him briefly last week, and we were able to sit for about an hour and talk about different philosophies and some things that he's seen and things like that. So it was enlightening for me to get his perspective on some stuff. But I just want to say thank you again. It was a great time for our Academy graduates, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. Although you're not our primary target, I did want to mention that this morning we are having a job fair for high school students. So I know some of you Commissioners may know some of those people, but this morning, in cooperation with the Shawnee County Human Resources at the Topeka Workforce Center, we're having a high school seasonal job fair. So come on by. Staff is there to inform potential high school students about the different positions that we may have available, as well as help them fill out any kind of applications, those type of things. We wouldn't be able to do it without Angela Lewis's office's help as well. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else for administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Cook.
Just a reminder of JADO meeting on Wednesday.
Commissioner Rippon.
Brian Cole stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was good to attend the graduation, and it's good to meet all the new people. So it's good.
Yes, we do have a JADO meeting on Wednesday. It is at 6 o'clock at City Council chambers, and it will be televised. But please attend. Next item, please.
Executive sessions.
There's not a need for an executive session. We're officially adjourned, and thank you for coming this morning.